Peace, peace. Just gonna do a real quick video explaining the aspects of Bitcoin that people have asked me about, but it's not necessarily my forte. So, that's why you gotta have a team of people who have a better understanding. And so I'm gonna turn this over to my son, Lords of the Pivot, who's gonna go into more of the breakdown of the change that has taken place inside of Bitcoin. Well, with Bitcoin today, I think y'all crashed Coinbase after my video, but I'm just gonna go with the fact that the market just does what it does. People are talking about a bubble. People are talking about, this is eventually going to crash. It's going to do this. It's going to do that. And this is where the understanding of knowing how markets work comes into play. I'm a tech person, so me being a tech person, I'm not going to, give out bad information. I'm going to resort to the people who know it better than I do. So that's what I'm doing, and I'm really doing it because, again, we got a lot of skeptics, and we got a lot of people who just don't know, and that's cool. It's all right not to know. I didn't know. I got put on, and I'm putting people on. So that's what I'm going to do. So I want to turn this over to Dre to give y'all a quick overview of how trade works.
Yo, what's up, fam? If any of y'all know me, man, I'm a very complicated thinker and speaker very often. So I'm gonna try to keep this as I'm trying to speak as much English as possible, I guess. But yeah, man, market fluctuation. So I've been studying Forex a lot lately. And through that, I'm not, I'm a history guy. I'm a religion guy. I'm a Kabbalah guy, esoteric study guy. So finance and business has never been my thing, but I'm a pretty nerdy dude. So whatever I put my mind to, I can figure it out. So my latest form of research has been market study, regardless of what kind of markets we're dealing with, just because I'm so unaware of that financial field for the most part. So what I've been learning though about market fluctuation, especially considering Forex trading, markets fluctuate, and that is a very useful thing that happens in markets.
Peace, Lashana. She's the one who put me on.
Like for instance, even when you consider the Nile River, the inundation of the Nile River, when it comes up and it floods and then it recedes and then it comes up again. So recently, I'm gonna give you a prime example of just market fluctuation in a format in which it would be easier to be understood, right? And this can be researched and this can be backtracked. It has nothing to do with Bitcoin either, right? So in 2008, I'm gonna give you guys a little diagram. In 2008, right, that was where the U.S. market was, right? Now, I don't know if I think it was 2008, right? 2008. We had right before then, we had a huge recession and like the market crashed, crazy. Market went all the way down. The U.S. dollar went all the way down, right? Now, about 10 years later, the market is higher than it's ever been. All right. So even when we talk about the U.S. currency and the U.S. market and that fluctuation, everybody said, oh, the U.S. dollar is losing its value. Go get your euros. Go get your euros. That's great. That's perfect. It makes great sense. But at the end of the day, we have to incorporate and we have to consider that the markets have fluctuations. Markets check price. They check price strength. They check the volume of the market. Like there's so many aspects in market movement that we can't just say something's a bubble and it's going to blow up. The U.S. dollar has blown up like a bubble and it has also returned. So we have to understand what the returning process is, how that works, and how it is we can capitalize off of a market fluctuation. So I actually have some charts that my mom told me about the subject matter. I was like, oh, I got charts for that because these are my charts that I practice with to study the market, right? So a few things that I want to point out is how the market fluctuates, right? So if you see right here, you see this line that goes across the middle, right? And I'm not sure, this might be backwards, right? But this is where the market was. You see how it comes up, is working its way up to go past that line? So what happens is this line is like when the road gets bumpy. You feel me? It's the part of the It's the part of the street that they haven't paved yet. You feel me? So the market is now touching untouched territory. So what happens is the car slows down because it's like, whoa, this is a little bumpy, right? We've never been this far up before, right? We've never been this far up before. So the market comes back down, right? And it slows down and says, all right, what are we about to get ourselves into? And then it starts working its way back up slowly, right? And then this breakout right here is when the market's like, all right, no, we got the perfect tires to actually push past this price level. And it does that, and it gets a little tired, it gets a little exhausted, and so it starts coming back down, back to that initial price. It goes below that price, and it's like, yo, we're way too strong to go below this price, so we're going to keep going up. You know what I mean? But if you look from right here, it was at a lower position, and it moved up, and it came back down in order to check the strength of this price. And then once it goes above this price, it comes back down to check the strength of this price. It does it again later on. But you see it continues to fluctuate on the upside of this line. So anytime it is touched below this line, it's nothing more than a market test. It was nothing more than a test of the price. You feel me? So numerous times, if you actually go into the history of Bitcoin, there was one time where Bitcoin was about $260 and it crashed. So mind you, Bitcoin has only been around since 2008. So we're talking about
Antar.
Not even 10 years for the most part, right? And there was a point in time in Bitcoin's infancy where it was like $260, and everybody was going crazy. We're like, whoa, wow, it's more than 100 now. And then it doubled from the 100, and then it crashed, and it went all the way down to like 70. You feel me? And all of the Bitcoin heads was like, whatever, we know it's popping. You mean the market does what it does? But so many people got scared, and they took their money out. You feel me? Because they didn't understand how markets work and how they fluctuate. It's the same with stock. If Apple comes out with a bad iPhone, their stock is going to drop. They have to then do things to effectively rise their stock again. That's why if you have somebody in your company that has a scandal or something like that, people will take money out of your company and you will lose that value in your stock. You're going to have to do something like fire that individual, or create some type of distance between you and that individual in order to create and maintain your credibility. You feel me? So there are so many things that can fluctuate a market. So we can't just, because we're so uninformed about Bitcoin and because it's so big and it's such a big hype, think that it works completely different than other markets. Bitcoin is the same exact thing. Bitcoin is growing in its own individual value because it is not in relation to any centralized market. What that means is when you are doing Forex trading, right? When you are trading $1.18 American to get €1, that US might fluctuate between $1.17 or $1.19 or $1.20 to get €1. So even though I just gave you $1, if the dollar's price is going up, you're not going to get that extra cent because I'm not trading you euro, bro. I'm giving you $1. You feel me? So it's irrelevant that the US dollar is growing and falling to you every day, being in an American country where we only exchange US dollars. So you're not going to see the fluctuation of a US dollar. So it's a lack of understanding markets because we don't have to touch markets like that unless we're traveling. You feel me? So this is where Bitcoin becomes important because all of these other markets are trading amongst themselves. When people say Bitcoin is at $10,000, Bitcoin is at 10, how many euros is Bitcoin at? You understand? We're dealing with the value of an item that is not centralized. You feel me? So it can be like any other currency paired with any other currency. We're only looking at it from the US perspective. So we're seeing how it's fluctuating against the US dollar. Look at how the US dollar fluctuates against the euro dollar. And then you'll see a pattern in market fluctuation and price change. So you have to understand that it is not a bubble that's going to crash. It is a new currency that is going through the same things that all currencies go through. So before you negate anything, take the steps to understand the totality of what it is you're dealing with and how it functions. Even if you can't get to, bro, I'm no expert, bro. If I'm wrong, please come in this joint and correct me because I'd like to freaking know. I mean, I want to get my dollars up. You feel me? But we have to know the basics of a system to understand how to create contingencies within that system. I mean, if we can't create contingencies because of our lack of knowledge, then it's always going to be, oh, well, that's a scheme, or oh, that don't work. No, it's not that it did not work. It's that you did not know what you were doing. You feel me? It's the same thing when you go on Forex and you just say, oh, it's a get rich quick scheme, and I'm gonna just go ahead and put a bunch of money in this joint, and I'm gonna trade because I've traded a few good times on a demo. Like, yo, there are so many more variables to it than that. You feel me? You have to deal with leverage, margin levels, stop losses, risk rewards. Like, there are so many more aspects. So before we count it out, first of all, if you count it out, I'm perfectly fine with that, because that means I'm going to get the dollars and you're not. So yeah, I mean, like, that's I think the important factor here. The important factor here is that people who have already invested in the Bitcoin, like, I remember I read or I heard somewhere, somebody said it's like having a bank in your pocket. So, like, for instance, we got Antar online, you know what I mean? And Antar put in, I think he said he put in like 200.
He said, I just cashed.
Yeah, he cashed out 900
from 100.
He cashed out 900 from 100. So literally, look at it.
Bank of America do that for y'all.
Look at it like this. Look at it, right? And this is the point that I was about to touch. Look at it like this, right? If you have $1,000 in your bank account and your savings, right? Bitcoin is a bank in your pocket. You understand? Because it's not centralized. There is no, you could just have Bitcoins. When you have a Bitcoin, you got a bank in your pocket. You feel me? So when you consider that, my man put in $100 into his savings account and cashed out 900. That means he made $800 APR. You understand? That's his interest rate in having his money in a savings account. The difference is his savings account is Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is growing in value. Your bank is not growing in value. Your bank is taking your money, utilizing it, and giving you a tiny percentage of the profits that it makes. You understand? Bitcoin don't got to do all of that. Every time somebody else buys, if I bought a Bitcoin right now, every time y'all buy a Bitcoin, my one Bitcoin is worth more because y'all keep putting value into the system. So as more people buy it and as more people get exposed, anybody who's already in it, their money is going to automatically be more valuable. That's why he could put in $100 and get 900 back, because a whole bunch of people are buying Bitcoins. Thus, it's extending the value of it. And when you understand the system of Bitcoin and it having a limited amount of coins in comparison to other cryptocurrencies that are coming out and don't necessarily have that limit, Bitcoin is, in a sense, is creating an idea of scarcity where these other cryptocurrencies aren't. So it's going to be cool to see how they fluctuate in the future once we get to those points of scarcity. But it's the same thing as gold. It's the same thing as water. We talk about the ice caps is melting and global warming, and we're not going to have no water in 100 years. Like, it's scarcity. A bottle of water is going to be $1,000 in 50 years. You understand? They selling bottles of air to niggas in China. Bottles of air. You understand? So scarcity. The Bitcoin cap is a very interesting aspect of the entire system. So you have to realize that I don't even think we've hit the cap yet. So if we haven't even hit the cap yet, we haven't even seen how the currency is going to fluctuate in its scarcity when people are still chasing to get the coins that are in existence, since no more can be made. You can still mine some coins. It might take you a minute, but you can still mine some coins. You feel me? So it's just like we're still in the early stages of its development. Don't count it out because you don't understand how markets move. That's not a smart thing. Because at the end of the day, I showed you paper, and this is the USD against the euro. I don't remember when, some random ass time in history. But if you look, you can see the fluctuations. You can see market testing price. You remember? And I remember in one video I watched, a guy gave a perfect analogy where I think I might have given a version of it where he talks about the car. He says the car is going 60 miles per hour and it hits a speed bump and slows down. That's it. That's all that's happening. The market hit a speed bump, it slows down, and it's like, all right, cool, my tires are cool. And then it starts speeding up again. It's happened numerous times throughout all currencies. Matter of fact, when they started telling you to take, when they were saying Jay-Z and all of them was taking their US dollars and putting them in the euro because it's more valuable, it's the same exact system, it's the same exact concept, it's the same exact idea. So don't count it out, because at the end of the day, the euro dropped after that happened. I think that was like 2010, 2012. The euro dropped and the US dollar went up. The Japanese dollar going to go up every time they come out with a new PlayStation. You understand? And every time that PlayStation gets obsolete, their market's going to go back down. You understand? Because there's no constant currency being pushed into their corporation. So it's the same thing. You feel me? So just relax, fall back. You didn't lose any bread. Let me just tell you that right now. You ain't lose no bread because we're not dealing with it in that manner. You understand? It's an investment. You know what I mean? My man could put $100 in extra, spare $100 and make 900 back. That's powerful. You feel me? Now, granted, the market could also go back down, and that's what it's doing. But at the end of the day, it's having trust in the totality of this financial and cultural and socio-economic revolution. Trust that. If you trust that, then you'll understand that in Bitcoin's prime, one coin will be worth $10,000. You understand? Trust that. Trust that. Look at what it's done in the last decade and understand that that's only a decade. I'm only 2 decades old, my G. You feel me? So it's just like there's so much more time and so much more life to be had. Malcolm X was in jail at 26. You understand? So it's just like, can Bitcoin get to 26 first before we start questioning its ability to grow? You know what I mean?
Cousin James. Hey, James.
He said, are there specific markets Bitcoin only associate with? When you say market, what do you mean? When you're dealing with currency, Bitcoin, at the end of the day, I like to make this argument. I like to say, as somebody who's studying Forex, I feel like Bitcoin falls in that category. It falls into the Forex market. Forex is for foreign X exchange. You understand? So the difference is that Bitcoin is not associated to a nationality. Bitcoin is not associated to a country. You understand? When you go to Jamaica and you take your US dollars, you give them $1 US, they give you like 70 Jamaican dollars. When I went to Egypt, $1 US is like, like $5 US is like 35 pounds. You feel me? That's all it is. It's an exchange of dollars. You feel me? So when you're looking at Bitcoin's price fluctuation, that means if you were to trade in, if you were to exchange your currency to US dollars, this is how much your coin over here, the Bitcoin over here, this is how much this random country's currency is not associated to a country. This is how much this currency is worth in your dollars. You understand? So it really is a foreign exchange market. The difference is that we don't necessarily look at it like that because it's not associated to a country. It's not necessarily a commodity that we consider right now in our paradigm of the financial market. You understand? It's not gold. It's not silver. You feel me? But it functions like those on a digital level. You understand? It's just gold has been around since the beginning of time. So you don't question gold. Do you understand? So it's the same exact thing. They've made digital gold. You know what I mean? So we have to understand it's going to fluctuate the same way. Gold has gone up and down in value for thousands of years, my friend. Up and down in value. I swear to God, look it up. It's gone up and down since they had the damn coins in Greece and freaking Muhammad came out with the coins, or not even Muhammad. The Umayyad dynasty came out with the Muslim coins that said there's only one God and the only one God is Allah. Back when they came out with them with the Dome of the Rock and whatnot, changed the course of history. You understand? With gold coins. You understand? Coins at that. So you have to understand that gold has constantly fluctuated, especially when people have a monopoly of it and the rest of the world does not. This is why I'm not going to get too far into, the politics of everything, but everything fluctuates. You know what I mean? Don't count Bitcoin out because you don't understand the fluctuations of markets.
I just want to get this disclaimer again. Nobody's getting paid to tell people information. I think for me, my only goal is to see everybody doing good.
Yeah.
And this is a very revolutionary and a very rebellious type of dealings when you're dealing with a currency that is not governed by the economy of a country. It's global currency that's used everywhere. And you know it's getting real when I'm in the hood in Philly and we got a Bitcoin machine.
Yo, 52nd in Lancaster, they got a Bitcoin ATM machine, bro, on the block. You understand? 52nd in Lancaster, in the gas station, the folks, the Middle Eastern folks got that shit on lock. You heard? So that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm getting me a Bitcoin card. I'm not getting a bank account. I'm putting all of my check bread in a Bitcoin. If I need to go get me a dub to go buy something, my G, I'm walking to 52nd in Lancaster and I'm taking it out the ATM because I'm not going to put it in a bank and then put it in my Bitcoin account when I literally could leave it there and it's going to double within a month. You understand? If I need some cash, I go to the damn Bitcoin ATM machine. The difference is, bro, is that it's on my block in the middle of the hood. You understand? So it's got to be in your neighborhood somewhere. I'm in the middle of West Philly in the bricks. You feel me? You gotta have one around. You know what I mean? What's your excuse? It's going to make you more money in the long run.
If you can buy scratch-off cards at the bodega, and you can buy lottery tickets and play these numbers, and people spend $25 playing the numbers, trying to win the lottery, pick 3, pick 4, all that good stuff. If you can put money into that, and you find an issue with trusting Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, then it's just not for you. And that's cool. But here's the thing. You can't say you weren't informed, because there's so many people who are speaking on this topic and really speaking to the people of color and the people who are not of the privileged life, because these people have already benefited from cryptocurrencies, fluctuations up and down. We have not. So there's nothing really to lose. So you should just, you know what I mean, put $5 in. I started with $5. I'm gonna keep it a B, and I started with $5. And when I got more money, I put $20 in. Then I put $100 in. So it's like, you don't have to spend your rent money. You know, you could just spend $5. It's simple. And then you can prove to yourself whether or not it works or don't work. Either way, it's $5. You ain't really lose nothing.
First of all, let's take a step out of poverty thinking for 1 second, right? Poverty thinking, right, is not understanding the power of investments, okay? Big businesses every year invest $100,000 into 10 new small businesses, okay? That means each business gets a $10,000 investment loan, right? Within 1 year, 8 of those businesses are going to fail. So that means that's $80,000 down the drain. You understand? Those 2 businesses that actually made it, that 20% return, those businesses are going to be $100,000 businesses within 5 years because of that initial investment and the fact that they did not fail. Thus, the return on a $100,000 investment is going to be $200,000, because the 2 companies that don't fail are going to make the difference for the 8 companies that did, because I invested $10,000 into your company. Tell me you can't make it into a $100,000 company. If you can't, all right, cool. The difference is that I didn't try it 10 times. One of y'all niggas gonna come through. And if one of y'all niggas come through, we Gucci. You feel me? I'm gonna get my money back. Yo, cuz, go holler at a drug dealer, fam. I'm telling you. Go figure out how to finesse your bread and how to invest in some work from some folks in your area. You feel me? Because it's all about investment, fam. It's not about getting an immediate return. It's the fact that we live in poverty and we don't have the comforts that we would like to have. We don't have food in our fridge constant. We don't have a bunch of cars to pick which one we want to go into. We struggling to pay rent. You feel me? So it's a level of urgency where it's like, well, if I'm gonna do something besides work every day to get a check, then I'm gonna need $500 from it immediately, bro. That's how you're gonna be working your damn day job to get a check forever, because you think one investment is supposed to just change your life in a week. Nah, bro. But like my man said, he had $100 in Bitcoin and it went to 900 in 2 months. If you would have put 100 10 years ago, you would have had 45 mil in the bank. This is what we talking about. You know what I mean? And granted, 10 years ago, it went up, crashed and fell, came back up, crashed and fell, and you still would have 45 mil today. You feel me? Get out of poverty thinking. Poverty thinking is a very, very, very bad dilemma that we have. You feel me? Once you can get out of that, you'll understand the importance in giving the little kid on your block that likes to draw $30 for art supplies. You understand? It's the same thing. Because every time he sell a $5 drawing, he owe you a yank. He owe you $1. You understand? Because you brought all them supplies. My man, he used to chop up buildings. He said he needed some type of saw. I said, I'll buy you your saw, bro. I'll buy you your saw. I need 10% every time you cash out all that copper and they give you a $300 lump sum. I need $30 until you pay for your joint. And then once you pay for your joint, while you still using that tool, I'm gonna need a check. Once I break even, I'm still gonna need a check because you're gonna have that tool for a long time. and I paid for it. Thus, I need my investment money. I need my return. And he was thankful for that because he didn't have the capital to buy the tool himself. You understand? I'm still making money off of that. So just step out of poverty and think about how these individuals who have generational wealth, how do they go about accumulating it?
Facts. All right, we out, y'all. That was enough, a little more than we need to give.
You know what I mean?
But hopefully somebody finds it beneficial. You know what I mean?
Either way, I'm gonna get my dollars, nigga.
All right, y'all, we out.